ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains. These are bad guys. This legislative package strengthens our law enforcement capabilities to seize property linked to Russia's kleptocracy. It's going to create new expedited procedures for forfeiture and seizure of these properties. And it's going to ensure that when the oligarchs' assets are sold off, funds can be used directly to remedy the harm Russia caused in their help build Ukraine.
Andrei Korobkov is a professor of political science and international relations at Middle Tennessee State University. Professor, welcome to the program. How important are the oligarchs to Vladimir Putin personally and to the way he runs the country?
Well, after February 21st, it became clear that they are not. That all power is concentrated in one set of hands. These are Vladimir Putin's, and neither the oligarchs nor the members of his inner political circle have any influence on his decisions. And thus the policy of sanctions is changing. The original idea was, let's create pressure on the oligarchs, and they would try to either force Putin to change his policies or give up power. This is not viable anymore. And the war is becoming the war of resources. The U.S. have already transferred to Ukraine about a third of its stock of javelins, anti-tank missiles. And thus, even for the U.S., it becomes a very serious problem in terms of material, logistics, and money. And therefore, now Biden is targeting the very different idea. He thinks, that Russia would simply get exhausted, both economically and militarily. It would, use all its, arms in Ukraine, and then the balance of power would change. And thus, he increases assistance to Ukraine. He gave about $3 billion in the first 2 months of the war, and now is asking for a $30 billion package from Congress, so it's 10 times more. Elections are coming. It's becoming harder to sell this idea of sending money abroad to U.S. electorate, and thus he is looking for other sources that would be more popular with the voters, including the confiscations of the wealth accumulated by the Russian oligarchs. Europe has already blocked about $30 billion in assets belonging to the wealthiest Russians around Putin. And now, Biden is trying to do the same in the United States. On the one hand, it's a clear and well-developed strategy. On the other hand, it creates a very dangerous precedent. We know that the Saudi...
Professor, I want to get on to this point. And look, I totally appreciate that you may not be a legal expert, but you're rightly saying that lots of assets of oligarchs and Russian citizens have been blocked. There was a paper published in 2017 by the US National Economic Research Bureau. It found that the collective assets of oligarchs was $800 billion. That was in 2015. So it's clearly a huge amount of money, but blocking money is not quite the same, of course, as taking ownership of that money and then using it to help Ukraine. So this isn't going to be totally straightforward.
Yes, and it creates, as I started saying, a very dangerous precedent. And we already know that the Saudis, many members of Saudi elite are trying to get rid of their assets in Britain and in the United States, because clearly, if today it is done to the Russian oligarchs, tomorrow this can be the Gulf oligarchs or the Chinese or some Indian billionaires and many others. And thus, this precedent is pretty dangerous for the world financial and economic system. So we'll see how it evolves, but at least for now, Biden needs to do it because his popularity keeps shrinking. And he needs to sell the idea that will help Ukraine without imposing additional costs on American taxpayers and the United States in general. This is a pretty tightrope, and we'll see whether he manages to walk it without getting any additional political harm personally.
Professor Andrei Korobkov, really appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much.